All right, guys, we're going to jump right into this video. Welcome back to the Hat House. It was a complete disaster this morning in the garage. But over the next 5 minutes, you're going to see how we get it cleaned up and we get this $250,000 eBay store whipped back into shape with a little bit of organization. You can see we had hats laying everywhere, laying out to dry overnight. And then we also have this bucket of hats of just junk laying around. Our shelves were completely unorganized, and we had cleaning supplies, boxes, even I had too much stuff in here. We had to take some of it out to our shed where we actually keep all of our listed inventory, and we're going to get this place cleaned up and back into shape. Mary and Tyler started this cleanup effort by first putting away all those hats that were left sitting out to dry. We put them in rows, and we had a plan for those after we got them done. I started by clearing off these shelves because that was the most important thing to me, because I wanted 3 separate shelves, one for cleaning supplies, one for inventory that needs to be listed, and 3, the last shelf was just for boxes that we use for shipping items. Once we got all those cleared off, we started labeling all of the boxes and all of the totes with labels of exactly what was supposed to go in each box, and I'll kind of show you what all the supplies are and how we labeled everything after we get everything cleaned up. Let's take a tour of the finished product and see what it looks like and how we kind of organized everything. These are our hat pins, and this is actually like one of those over-the-door shoe organizers. Works great for holding little things like this and hangs well on the end of this shelf. Next was our junk hat bucket. Most of these hats, I'm either going to take the buttons off the top of them, or I'm going to cut the snaps off to repurpose them on other hats that might have broken snaps. Next up is the box shelf, and this is the question that is probably the most asked, and I'm happy to answer it every time. I use 3 main boxes. The first one is 8 by 8 by 4. I use that for like new era hats and higher crown hats. Then I use an 8 by 6 by 4. I use for a lot of dad hats. Then I use a 10 by 8 by 6 for multiple orders. And then I have 2 priority boxes, the large mailing and the medium flat rate. That's mostly for whatnot, but sometimes I'll use them for eBay. Okay, let's check out the hat rack. On the top shelf here are mainly hats that need a little bit more attention. I have a box for hats that need snaps, a box for that need OxiCleaned. We have trucker hats that need a little bit more cleaning. Most of the foam's coming out of them and need to be washed out. We have hats that need to be hand cleaned, hats that need to be shaped, and hats that need a button on them. And then after that is mainly all the hats that need to be listed. We split them up into groups of 25. That's how we list. We list in groups of 25. So we're going to start putting the hats on this shelf in groups of 25. So we just pull it off, take pictures of it, and then send it out to the shed to be stored. Okay, let's take a look at some of the cleaning supplies. You guys know grandma spray will always be number 1 in my book, which is why I always keep a lot of it on hand. But I have been going back to a little bit more OxiCleaning on the white hats. Hopefully I'll have a video for that soon. Next up, we have our box of basic repair and cleaning supplies that every hat seller will need. We have cleaning brushes for deep cleaning, lint rollers and hat brushes to get the hats free of lint, and then fabric markers and fabric glue. I use these all the time to make minor repairs on patches and some minor discoloration. Next up is what you'll need to bring some bangers back to life. Always have some extra snaps around, and when I take them off, I just cut them off of the hat. The hat's going to be trash anyways, so I just cut them off and then throw them in this box. And then some extra buttons. It's always difficult to find the color button that you need to go with the hat. And then I also have a place for patches. I have to take patches off all the time, so I'm going to build up a pretty good supply of patches right here. Now let's look under the counter for some of the supplies that we keep under here. First up is postal bags. Some days 10 just isn't enough, so we keep about 15 in this tote. Next up is all about shaping. First is our hat house shapers, which we use on more of the premium hats to get a really good shape on them. And then the other tote has a bunch of bowls in it, and we use these bowls to kind of do shaping in bulk when we have like 100 hats that we got to get shaped at one time. Okay, let's take a look at these last three totes that we have underneath this bench. The first one is miscellaneous. This has a little bit of everything in it, from belts to jackets to shoes. The hat house picks up some things sometimes that aren't hats. We still got to get them sold. And then the last two buckets are really winter stuff. Right now we're kind of storing the winter stuff since it's July. We'll pull it out in September or October and we'll list it then and hopefully get a better sales price for it. So take a look around, guys. How do you think we did? I think it's looking a lot better than what we started with, but do you have any organization tips or tricks that you can hand out too?